Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen and try to. I'm gonna try to share my screen. I'm gonna try it again because they updated, so
Okay.
it'll be okay. Since I'm a pro now at sharing my screen.
Hold on.
Hosted.
Co-host. Make co-host. All right. Try now.
Okay. All right. Do you see me? Do you see my screen?
We got your screen.
Okay. Let's try this again. Dealing with stress and anxiety. I'm going to skip over the video that I did earlier. Basically, the video, it was really cute, talking about how kids view fear. They gave some suggestions on how to move past fear. But it can be anything from spiders, bugs, clowns. I hear that a lot. Shadows, nightmares. If something bad has happened before, you can be in fear that it may happen again. So, also, this is another clip for parents, but it's for kids too. So drastic changes, some of the things that contribute to fear in children, drastic changes. So like moving and being in another school district, parents divorcing, someone passing away in their family, teenagers learning to drive, getting your driver's license, starting a new job for the first time because you don't know what to expect. Some stress in life is helpful stress, it can be good stress, but it doesn't feel good. Your body doesn't know the difference. So family problems, anything that affects the children or the teenagers in the home, it can result in behavior issues because children tend to hold things in and they don't know the proper terminology or how to express their feelings. So they just feel bad about it and they may act up in school and get in trouble because there are a lot of peer pressures to do things, to dress a certain way, to speak a certain way, to be popular, those kind of things. School. So school is its own set of stress. Even if you get straight A's, I have more kids coming to me. Well, I'm not going to say more. I'll say half and half. There are a lot of kids that come to therapy because they get straight A's and it's a lot of pressure to keep getting straight A's. Or sometimes because they're doing so well, they're put in accelerated classes and they give you like extra work or very stressful assignments that may be just a little bit more or extra than the regular assignments. So if you're taking math and they put you in AP calculus instead of just taking the regular math, it's very stressful. But some kids, they can feel that stress and push past it and get through it. But sometimes the stress of those classes can cause kids to start doing other things, isolating themselves, not speaking to family members or being irritable. And then at the bottom, parents can sometimes stress out children unintentionally because they have life situations happening, changes in their lives that they try to keep from the kids. And they act out in stressful situations too. So they're irritable or angry, or they don't want to talk to the kids as much because they feel like they're dealing with like grown up or real world problems, So 8 ways anxiety shows up as something else. So a lot of times kids just can't say I'm anxious or I feel nervous or I'm in fear of something. They act out as being angry. Sometimes they may get into a fight at school or use like pressured speech, meaning like leave me alone, like really stress their voices. Difficulty sleeping because they're worried about something. So if they're like up in the middle of the night or they go to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and you get up and you're moving around and you see their light is on or something's going on, They may be worried about something. Defiance. So let's say these kids are, typically they do what they're told to do, but you ask them to do something, they just say no. And you're like, okay, excuse me, this is new, but it makes them not feel good on the inside. So their mind is going over and over things, and they're just stressed out, and they know that no means they don't have to do anything at all. Chandeliering. Okay, the chandeliering, that's a new terminology that you don't hear often. It's when a seemingly calm person flies off the handle. So this person is usually chill and no issues, and all of a sudden they just get upset about something that's very small. So it's just like over the top behaviors. Lack of focus, because they have a lot on their minds. Sometimes they can't focus on things. Now, all of these things that I'm reading out loud about children, it also applies to adults as well. Avoidance. Let's say it's somebody at school and they want to fight them, or they feel like they're being bullied by someone. They'll say, I don't want to go to school. And you're like, but you have to go to school. It's not an option. And they just really don't want to go. So they'll say, I'm sick, or I don't feel good, or, and it can be a test, it can be a project, it can be a group project, it can not necessarily bullying, but it's something they're trying to avoid. And adults, if we have a hard time speaking in front of people, we're not volunteering for it. Or if we're at church or at work and we're asked to do something, we try to stay away from it because we're not comfortable with that. Over planning. Well, let's go to negativity. Negativity. So it's like, I'm no good at this. I'll never get it right. I'm just a bad person. All those things are negative comments that they make. They can make them out loud or in their heads about themselves. If you notice that there's an increase of them being negative. Now, if they say, I'm always blah, 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 they do that every now and then anyway, that's one thing. But if it's increasingly happening more and more, then that's something to pay attention to. Over planning. Now, you're like planning what you're going to wear, planning what you're going to eat. But if you're like continuously planning and planning and planning, and it starts to affect, other areas of your life, then that's a problem. Responses to stress. Some people might want to know, how do I know I'm stressed? Your body goes through changes, and people's behaviors usually give you a clue. So let's say we have 4 different responses to stress. Now, I didn't put 4 in a point on this one. I was slipping the last little towel. But the first one is fight. So whenever a problem comes up that's stressful to you, this person typically will be the one to fight whatever is going on. Now, each one of these is someone's character. Okay, so if you're the person who, if someone pops up and that you feel like they're picking on you, or they're trying to call you out, or I've had kids come to me like somebody like hit them on the back of the head, just joking, trying to be funny. So this particular person will fight. They are seen as a mean person. Sometimes they have conduct issues. They have a temper sometimes, and sometimes they have angry outbursts. So if you know kids who are in your class or people around you who do these type of things, they're the fighters when things get stressful. The flight people, these are people who panic. They're always rushing. The workaholics, always on the go or busy. They are seen as overachievers, and a lot of times they're avoidant of things. They can, like, people can work and forget about their problems, or they're the overachievers. They want to be seen in a positive light. Now, number 3 is freeze. These people will space out. Like, things pop up and they just like, I blacked out, or I don't know what to do. They just stop. They feel like things are unreal at times. I've heard people tell me they feel like they're in a movie or it's like a dream. They have brain fog. Now, that's one of the symptoms of the residual effects of COVID, supposedly, is brain fog. So isolation, they want to be off to themselves. They have a hard time making the decisions at times. Fawn, these people considered fawns are people pleasers. They're scared to say what they think if it's not popular. They won't stand up for themselves. And they're very concerned about social statuses, okay? At times, you don't have to be completely one of these people. You can choose to fight against something if it's unfair. And I'm not talking about physically fighting, but just standing up for yourself and say, no, this is not right. You know? What is anxiety? Because this presentation is on stress and anxiety. Now with stress, these are things that come up that is the day-to-day thing. And people go, whoa, you know, this feels uncomfortable, I feel nervous or whatever, but they do the thing or they get past it and it's like, phew, and it's over. We move on to the next thing in life, you know? But with anxiety, it's an intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. So instead of just worrying about the test, studying for it, taking the test and going, phew, it's like, I am going to create, I mean, you're not consciously creating this thing, but your body will say, oh, it's a test coming up. I do very poorly on tests. I am so scared about this. Your heart may start racing. You may start to sweat. Your palms may start to sweat. You have like a very uneasy fear of this. Anxiety is very physical. It's a physical thing. So let's see, anxiety can be normal in stressful situations as public speaking or taking tests. But as anxiety, when you look at it as a diagnosis, it's excessive, all consuming, and it interferes with your daily life. So let's say your friends ask you to go hang out. Because you have this going to hang out because you're so stressed out about it. When the stress and the anxiety gets in the way of your daily things that you like to do, that's when it's a problem. So the way it affects you physically. So physical indicators here are in your head. Since it's physical, sometimes people experience headaches. They get dizzy. They have problems sleeping. They may have nightmares about it. And hair pulling. Hair pulling, they'll twirl their hair and pull at their hair sometimes, like a nervous issue. And some people, they bite their nails. Well, that's on the next one for your mouth. Inside your cheek biting. You know, some people like bite the inside of the cheek just as a nervous reaction. Biting their nails, and they have chapped lips sometimes. I used to suck my lip when I was a kid, like suck my bottom lip and it would get dark right here. You know, that was another sign of anxiety. Difficulty swallowing is your throat area, dry mouth, and consistent coughing. Sometimes people have a nervous cough. They clear their throat just because they're nervous. They go, when there's really no reason for them to clear their throat. The chest area. People go to the emergency room very often for chest pains. And when they go repeatedly and there's nothing wrong in the chest scans that they do, they will refer them to a mental health professional because it's something else going on besides, you know, like heart issues or lung issues. So anxiety can cause chest pains. It can cause difficulty breathing and heart palpitation where your heart is beating very fast or it feels like it's swelling in your chest. Or your stomach area. I'm trying to move this little box around. Your stomach area. Nausea, that means you feel like you have to throw up, but you don't actually throw up. You feel sick to your stomach. Vomiting, that means you do actually throw up when you get nervous. Diarrhea, constipation, or just stomach cramps. just no reason. They just come up when you start feeling like funny, nervous, and scared, and all of a sudden your stomach start cramping. You say, oh, I have a bellyache.
Let me pause here. To the youth that's online, do you know of anyone that has dealt with any of those stomach issues, head issues, throat issues that you see in your classes that have been that, you know, kids appear to be sick for no reason? Not everybody talk at once. Okay, parents that online, do you have any youth or I know one of my friends that's on here is an educator. Do you have any youth that you think that are stressed based on what Syreeta just shared or exhibit some of those signs? And if you can, could you explain a little bit?
Absolutely. Hey everybody, my name is Deja, and I can speak from personal experience. I know even at this age, I'm 24 right now, but when I get super nervous to do something, I start like shaking a little bit and I'll start clenching my jaws and I feel sick, like my stomach starts to hurt. So that's what I experience. And an example of this would be speaking in front of a lot of people. If I have to go up in front of the class, or if I have at my job, if I have to speak in front of a lot of people, I get really nervous and I start, clenching my jaws, or I'll even stutter sometimes when I talk. So that's what I experience personally.
Okay, thank you. Another educator online.
All right, well, good afternoon. I guess in my profession, I'm seeing it with COVID, but of course I'm seeing a whole lot more than I usually do, because right around when the students get ready to audition and perform, they get, I'm a band director, so they get real stressed out, biting nails, extra eating even. I'm seeing that a lot, even across the school, where the students didn't normally go in and sit and eat lunch. They trying to be around each other. It's like you could see them trying to get over it, but you noticing different habits with them. A whole lot of them, some of them, I actually wanted to ask a question more about anxiety, because I have all these children coming and telling me that they have anxiety. And I kind of hate to diagnose them or that someone told them that, because sometimes I think they have an anxiety about having anxiety and they don't really have anxiety. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I see a whole lot of it. A whole lot of it. And like I said, them being stressed about auditions and preparing, and hearts, palpitations, losing their breath and things like that.
Okay. Syreeta, you want to address that? And Lorena, I've seen you, so we'll get you next.
My computer kind of cut out a little bit, but I heard what you were saying, that the band students are having issues with like presentations, and it's a lot more, it's common now. When COVID first came out and everybody had to stay at home and the school system was scrambling to figure out what they were going to do and continuing to educate the children. The teachers were stressed, the parents were stressed, the children were stressed. This is something that no one has ever dealt with before. So these kids had to be isolated from their friends and from their normal routine. So once they got back to some semblance of normal, some of the people, they had like online classes, and even straight A students, they did poorly. Then they had like hybrid schools in some areas where they would go to school one day and not go to school on certain days. So the norm of going to school Monday through Friday and dealing with things that were small stressors and being able to get over it, it made it huge. So you would have something that was small and it appeared bigger than what it was because you can't contact your friends, or you were not able to be around them. Maybe they were closer to other people than they were closer to you, and COVID complicated things because some people had to be shut into their homes because they had COVID. They had to stay for 10 days. Some people lost people. So now in the society that we're dealing with, that we know we can order online, we can work online, we can get food online, we could just stay in our homes, basically. Kids are learning less and less about social skills and about being in front of people, having a normal, regular conversation, just meeting someone. Hey, my name is Syreeta. What's your name? No, we're all online. We text. Sometimes we FaceTime. So when we're in front of people, it's very uncomfortable because we just haven't really done a lot of that in the past 2 years.
And then Corrado, a lot of kids she's seeing, or they're coming to her saying that they're dealing with anxiety. Give some pointers, and I know you're probably going to address it later on, but give some pointers on how she can assist her students if they're coming to her saying they're anxious and they're feeling anxiety.
Okay. A good example of what I'm gonna share with you is, it's a book. It's for smaller kids, but it's talking about how people can get overwhelmed with their anxiety. Before it was like, oh, I feel anxious and this is not a good feeling, and it didn't take as long for them to process it and get through it. But now they're overwhelmed. So their body starts to break down when they start breathing very fastly, and then their hands could start to lock up and they can't move, and sometimes they can't talk. So if it ever gets to that level, they're having a panic attack, and you may have to call 911. But before that happens, try to think of some coping skills, and we'll go over that at the end, that they could do. Hey, do me a favor. Well, you don't say, let me distract you. You can distract them by saying things like, what was that song we played last week? Who is the section leader over the such and such and such? I mean, ask them things that you know that they probably already know. Hey, when we play next week, where are we going? When's our next concert? And that directs their attention away from whatever, like they're getting ready to perform right now, or something that's making them really stressed out at the moment. Another one at the end is about like using your 5 senses to calm yourself down and distract yourself. I have a thing that I like to do if I feel like I'm overwhelmed with something that I can do nothing about, is I pray for people. Like, I just think of people's faces or their names, and I say, God, please bless this person, help them with this, help them with that. And if you're not religious, you can send love and light to people if they're stressed out and they're going through things. Just tell them, send love and light. Like, who is someone who was dealing with something like this that you remember? Send well wishes to them. That stops me when I'm in the car. I mean, you can't do anything, you're driving. So you just start distracting yourself, listening to music, those type of things. So at the end, there are a list of coping skills and some literature too that we can go over so that you can address it head on, because you can't really defer them to anybody else if they're standing in front of you and they're actively anxious,
Okay, and Lorena. Unmute yourself. Here.
Hi. Hey, Syreeta. So I've seen this with my nephew. He's in 8th grade, and so he'll have I'm sick to my stomach. I don't know why he has any type of anxiety. I haven't really talked to him about it, but with some of the symptoms that, like some of the things that you were saying, is exactly what he says. He's throwing up, his stomach is hurting, or, he doesn't want to go to school, or my sister has to go pick him up early because his head is hurting or something. And it's just maybe little things that will trigger it. And then also I've told Syreeta before that I'm dealing with it with my son, and he's in kindergarten. So and some of the things is he's biting his nails. He'll say like his tummy is hurting, or, little things like that. But, I didn't think that someone in kindergarten would have anxiety, but
it's a very uncomfortable feeling. If they get to the point to where they don't want to go to school, it's like baby steps. You have to congratulate them for small victories. They got a good grade on that assignment, or hey, if you get this way, just go speak to this counselor, speak to the counselor or someone on the staff and say, hey, my kid is struggling with anxiety. I want you to be a contact person for them. Now, some kids will play the role and they'll want to go every class. So you have to be mindful of that. And you have to set some boundaries, but they need to have someone on the campus that they can just talk to and help calm them down if they get that way. Because at the last instance, you don't want to have to pick them up. Because if you pick them up, they learn that I'll get picked up. If I don't feel a certain way, they'll come get me, and I don't want to go to school. I want to be homeschooled, and they're never going to get any social interaction. So we have to try these baby steps to get them to stay in school and fight through it and learn the coping skills. Because when they're a teenager, it's going to be the same thing. When they're an adult, they're going to have stressful situations, and you can't always run.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, Syreeta.
Okay. Let me go back to my little screen. So this is a really cute, let me go back. This is a really cute book that I found. Bear with me, the people who are older, but it's very relevant to adults too. Just watch all the instances and how this worry, something small, can turn into something big.
Ruby Finds a Worry by Tom Percival.
Did you share your screen?
Did I?
No.
Girl, I'm just going. Hold on, let me try this again. Give me 1 second. I am not the most computer literate. For all those who know me, they should know that I'm not. So go back to share my screen. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Let me get back to where I was. Give me 1 second. But with this, the resources on here are good for small children, some adults, and teenagers as well. And I like this is gonna be a YouTube clip, so you can go back and look at it and you can freeze it and take screenshots if you need. All right, let's see.
Ruby Finds a Worry by Tom Percival. Creatively read by Miss Jill. Ruby loved being Ruby. She loved to swing up high. And she loved to explore wild, faraway places. Sometimes she even went all the way to the very bottom of the garden. Ruby was perfectly happy until one day she discovered a worry. Now, it wasn't a very big worry. In fact, it was so small that at first Ruby hardly noticed it. But then the worry started to grow. Each day it got a little bit bigger. It just wouldn't leave her alone. It was there at breakfast, staring at her over the cereal box. And it was still there at night when she brushed her teeth. The funny thing was that no one else could see Ruby's worry, not even her teacher. So Ruby pretended that she couldn't see it either. She tried to carry it off as if everything was normal, but it just wasn't. The worry always was there, stopping her from doing the things she loved. Ruby wondered if the worry would ever go away. What if it didn't? What if it stayed with her forever? Ruby didn't realize it, but she was doing the worst thing that you could ever do with a worry. She was worrying about it. Now the worry was enormous. It could barely fit in the kitchen at dinner time, and it filled up half the school bus. And it took up the whole rows at the movie theater. The worry became the only thing that Ruby could think about, and it seemed like she would never be happy again. Then one day, something unexpected happened. Ruby noticed a boy sitting alone at the park. He looked how she felt, sad. And then she noticed something else, something hovering next to him. Could it be worry? It was. Ruby realized that she wasn't the only person with the worry after all. Other people had them too. And she asked the boy what was on his mind, and as he told her, the strangest thing happened. His worry began to shrink. Then Ruby did the best thing that you can ever do if you have a worry. She talked about it. As the words tumbled out, Ruby's worry began to shrink until it was barely there at all. Soon, both of their worries were gone. Finally, Ruby felt like herself again. Of course, that wasn't the last time that she ever had a worry. I mean, everybody gets them from time to time. But now that she knew how to get rid of them, they never hung around for very long. Yeah. If you like hearing the...
Okay, so the reason why I like this one is because it talked about being overwhelmed and how big the worry can get. I have small children, teenagers, and adults that come to me to where their worry can get debilitating at times, where they can't do hardly anything at all. So a shift from stress hurts to stress helps. It's like changing your mindset about it. I believe that everything we do is a choice. We can choose to overstress about something, or we can choose to distract ourselves, or we can change our perspective about how stress and worry affects us. So accept that you can't prevent stress. Stress is an opportunity to grow, okay? So when you're in a stressful situation, I found out when I was in school for early childhood development that we learn when we're in disequilibrium. That means we learn when we're uncomfortable. We make a change. We either get better at something or we figure out how to tackle something if we don't like the feeling. If you go to class and you're rushing and you're unprepared and you feel bad the whole class period, the next time you say, hey, I'm getting more sleep. I'm gonna eat my breakfast before. Sorry, I have dogs in here. So you'll say, I'm gonna go to sleep earlier, I'm gonna be more prepared, I'm gonna study more. That's when you change, is when you feel uncomfortable in a situation. So it's an opportunity for you to grow and learn more skills. Learn to understand your child's stress rather than dismiss it. I had someone telling me that their kid said, I don't have a sense of taste, because, you know, people are talking about not being able to taste things because of COVID. And his mom was like, boy, quit playing. You ate 2 plates of chicken last night. Like, you have to be able to taste because you kept eating the food. So I think a little of that stress that he was feeling about COVID and about her stress, I don't want my kid to have COVID, so she's dismissing it. And it turns out that somebody they've been in contact with tested positive. She took a test, she was positive. So she said, oops, my bad. Maybe he does have COVID. But she dismissed it because she figured, oh, he's a kid. They don't know what he's talking. It's so easy to dismiss a little small kid because we figured they don't know what they're saying or they don't know what they're talking about. But it's something behind it if you can dig a little bit further. Explain that stress can be a good thing when you learn from it. So the movie Inside Out, I wanted to do a clip from that. I love that movie if you've seen it. Inside Out talks about different feelings and emotions. fear on there. He would pop up when she was doing something reckless, like she was running through the living room and it was a cord out there. He would go, ah, you know, every time something that was a little bit fearful happened. But it kept her safe. Sometimes fears keep you safe. If you say, you know what, I don't feel right in this situation, listen to that fear and find another alternative so that you won't have to go through that. If your friends are talking about something that's probably not a good idea to do, don't feel like I don't want to be popular and I'm just going to go ahead and do whatever everybody else is doing. If you have a small fear or you feel uncomfortable, think of a situation to how you can get out of it. My kids used to tell me, they used to say, Mama, say no. And I'll go, what? And then they'll put the phone up and say, oh yeah, my mama said I can't come spend the night at your house today or whatever. Like, Mama say no, that's the code. Mama say no. And I'll go, no, you got to do your homework or you got to do these dishes or something. So they'll prep me before it happens. And it's good to have a code with your kids. If they're hanging out with friends at the mall or something and they're in an unsafe situation, they can text you a code or something. And then you can call and say, hey, I'm coming to pick you up. Something happened, you know, so that they can get out of a stressful situation if they need to. All right, growth, a guide of getting through and making the anxiety smaller, making your fear and anxiety smaller. So encourage your children to talk about it. So it's kind of hard sometimes because adults are busy and we all have a lot going on at times. And we think, I don't have time for this. I need to hurry up and do this or whatever. And kids are there and they want you to listen to them, but you're in the midst of something. I understand that. Say, hey, give me 5 minutes. Get yourself together, close up whatever you're doing, and then you can listen to them. Because when kids feel like you don't listen to them, they will quit talking to you about it. They'll bottle it up and then other problems will pop up. You have to sacrifice something. When you have kids, it's a sacrifice. Everything is a sacrifice. So you have to find a time to talk to them. Like when I picked my kids up from school, I would always just ask about their day. And they're adults now, I can tell them. Half the time I wanted to say, how was everything? How was your day? I said that, but then they start talking about, oh, she said that she wasn't such and such friend. And then this person is talking about this person. And, ooh, now they're going out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please let it end. Let it stop. Please just let it stop. And I would just smile and go, really? Okay, really? And what did you say? I mean, you know, you have to participate. You have to. A lot of the times it's information and stuff you probably really don't want to know. You have to absorb all this information because one day it's going to be everything, but they will feel like they can talk to you. So encourage them to talk about what they fear and what's going on. Help them come up with game plans. So the fear of the object or the situation should be neutralized by associating with something positive. Okay, school, you don't like school right now, but you're in the band. You want to be in the band, don't you? So you have to go to school. Your grades have to be this way. So let's get through it. Let's tackle it one class at a time. What do you need to do to get through this class? What do you need to do to get through this one? And guess what? Ooh, then it's band, you know, or whatever they look forward to, recess or seeing their friends. Because a lot of times they want to go to school just to see their friends. They don't care about the assignments. Children should see other people handling the object or situation that they fear without fear. So this is where we talk about modeling behaviors. I have some adult friends who are scared of dogs. I mean, they are just totally. They were raised to be scared. It was something to fear. Maybe they saw somebody get attacked by a dog one day when they were young, or maybe they got attacked by a dog and they fear it. I tell people all the time, before you have children, deal with your stuff. So if you're around a dog, be able to be around a dog. Grow to where you can pet a dog, you know, be near it and show your kid, hey, look, I'm near it. It's okay. You know, everybody listen, I see you, Ms. Perkins, I see you. I see your facial expression. But
Why are you afraid of dogs, man? You had new Declan.
Just depends on the dog.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So if you have some things that are difficult for you, share it. Say, gosh, I'm starting a new job. Talk to your kid. They could be 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, teenager or what. I'm starting a new job. I'm a little scared. I'm fearful because I don't know the people. It's a new environment. I'm going to be learning things all over again. I mean, talk it through with them and say, but you know what? They're paying me more money. So I'm going to do this. It's going to work out. I'm going to find a friend, talk them through it so that they can do that too. If they have to change schools, they can say, okay, I don't know these people, but I'm going to go in here. I'm going to try my best. It's a new environment. This school is newer than the old school. Talk about the comparisons. What makes this school better than the last one? That kind of thing. So talk them through it and show them if you can get through things, they can too. So bring the child gradually in contact with the things that they're scared of, okay? So if your kids are scared of bugs or things like that, there are petting zoos. There's the actual zoo. They have the little exhibits with the reptiles and stuff. Sometimes people are so fearful they can't even see it. Look at you. Sometimes they're fearful of things, they can't even see it.
Right.
If it's a debility, okay, some people are afraid of the heat, LT.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of being in the sun and you're afraid of heat, guess what? Learn how to get that sunblock on so that you will be all right, and do it a little bit at a time. Everything in moderation, okay? That's all I want to say, in moderation. So, coping skills, all right? This is a really cute video, okay? I want you to look it up. I think it's awesome for kids. It's awesome for adults. It will move a little fast, so I want you guys to write this down. I need everybody to have pen, paper, or something to write down some of these things that you see, or just write down the title where you can go back and look at it yourself, okay? I'm gonna give you a minute. Everybody get paper. Everybody get paper.
Or put a note in your phone. Pull your notes up. Put a note.
There you go. Note in your phone. That's a good one. I'm old school. Paper, pen.
Well, yeah.
All right, I'm getting ready to play the video.
This is the A to Z of ideas and ways to help you cope. A is for activity. Be active, move, do more of the things you enjoy. B, breathe. Deep breaths in and long, slow breaths out. 10, then start again. C is for create. Find creative ways to express yourself. What other ways are there to be creative? D, distract yourself. If you are in crisis and need to stay safe, try to distract yourself by keeping busy. For example, watch TV, play a game, or read a book. When you feel calmer, you'll be more able to tackle the distressing thoughts and feelings. E is for exercise. Get moving. Run around or do some sport. Go to the park or playground and have some fun. Friends and family. Friends and family are important. Spend time with the people that make you feel happy. G is for goal setting. Break tasks down into small steps. Focus on one at a time.
I'm pausing it. So with the goal setting situation, that's one of the things that I was talking about, planning. When you set goals, it helps you to see that you can get past and get through all of the anxiety that you have going on.
H is for helpline. Call Childline. If you feel you can't speak to a parent or teacher, they will listen and offer you help. I is for ice. Cool down, have an ice cream or a cold shower to lower your temperature to help keep your body and mind calm. J, joke. Find something to make you laugh. K, keep a scrapbook of the places you have been and things you have done. It will remind you.
You can do this with your kids. Making a scrapbook, this is like an old school thing to do. And write down the things that made you happy if you can't, because some people can't remember what made them happy. So bring up like pictures from your phone. You can send them to Walgreens or wherever and get them printed out of the happy moments, so it can remind them that they used to be happy, that you used to have fun. When stressful things come up, look in the book and find something to do that you like doing.
Your happy times and of your achievements, things to be proud of and feel good about. L, list 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can see, 3 things you can touch. This will help you to focus your mind on the present moment.
That's the one I was talking to with the educators, making a list of these things, things you can hear, see, and touch, just to center them, make them feel grounded, what's going on around them, to calm them down so they won't go towards having like a panic attack.
Here and now. M is for music. Listen to your favorite music. N is for nurture. Look after yourself by making sure you eat and drink. O, organize. Do one thing at a time. Tick things off a list so you can see how much you are getting done. P is for pets. Spend time looking after and playing with an animal. They are great for cuddles. Q, quiet time. Keep things calm and peaceful around. R, relax. It's important and okay to take a break. How do you like to chill out? S is for support networks. Who's around you that you can lean on for support? Friends, family, teachers, youth clubs, helplines? T, try something new. Try an activity or a hobby you haven't done before. You might find something you enjoy and are good at. U, use your talent and strength. Focus on what you do well and do more of it. This will build your confidence. V is for visualize. Picture your calm or happy place. Maybe you could draw it and put it somewhere to help you focus on other thoughts and images. W, write it down. Keep a diary or blog. Get it out of your mind and onto paper. X is for Xbox. It's okay to have downtime and have fun. Y, you can do it. Positive self-talk can help you believe in yourself. Well done, keep going. Z, sleep. Sometimes things feel better when we have a good night's sleep. If you want to find out more.
Okay, that was a lot of coping skills. I encourage people to pick out maybe 2 to 5 things that work for you to focus on, and then try more. I tell everybody they need to have a nighttime routine to get things off of their minds and to help them to relax. So if you are someone who watches television until you fall asleep, or you're on your phone, on social media, just perusing stuff, and you're having a difficult time sleeping, it's because the blue light that you're looking at is like keeping your mind active. It's keeping your mind going. So once you turn everything off, you're like staring at the ceiling and you can't sleep. So I tell people about 30 minutes or to an hour before it's time for you to go to sleep. Like if you want to go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock, or even if your bedtime's 8 or 9, start to wind down by turning off the blue light and doing some things that relax you. My nighttime routine, I think it's specific for people because what I like to do may not be something that everybody likes to do. Time permitting, I'll run a bubble bath. Epsom salts because I've been working out, so I'm in pain all the time. Drinking a tea or something, chamomile tea, something with lavender in it or whatever to help you to relax in the evening. I have crossword puzzles, word finds, coloring, adult coloring books, because I think the coloring, shading things in is very soothing to me. Sometimes people can do yoga in the evening or do positive affirmations. And I have a clip of positive affirmations at the end of this. I love them. It's for kids, but there are some for adults too. They tell you things about, like, it's very encouraging. It's telling you that you're beautiful. You're a nice person. People love you. Everything you try, you succeed at. You're a successful person. I mean, it tells you things like that over and over again. You can repeat it out loud or repeat it in your head. It's very good if you've had a difficult day or if you want to start the day out right, feeling good and positive about yourself. I've started organizing things or reorganizing things. My sock drawer, hanging things up a certain way. I put like 5 outfits together. So if I'm rushing the next day, I can just grab one, put it on and go out the door. Meal prepping, writing lists down of things I need to get from the store because I'm cooking 3 or 4 different meals this week. I'm going to prepare for it, or go in the kitchen and get my snacks together so that if I'm rushing, I can go and grab my snacks and go out the door. Things like that. It can be a nighttime routine or a morning routine. Things that encourage you, listening to podcasts about positive things. Laughing, like I love the one about laughing. Laughing makes you feel a whole lot better. Laugh till you cry if you can. Tips for parents. So our kids, I want you to listen. So if your parents are busy and they're not paying attention, you can help your parents. Okay. All right. So these things here are very helpful because some parents feel like they don't know what to do. Maybe they don't suffer. And I have parents that come in, they don't suffer with anxiety or depression or any other things, but their children do, and they don't understand it at all. So this is a way to help you understand how to help them. Explain anxiety and stress and help them recognize it. So if you've noticed they bite their nails when they're stressed, because they may not even know it. Sometimes people absentmindedly do things when they're stressed that they don't even notice. Say, hey, I noticed you bite your nails when you're stressed out. Or maybe you can't be still or you're fidgeting a lot. So you tell them how to recognize it in themselves. You introduce calming techniques and mindfulness. Mindfulness is being aware, basically. If you can sit still, close your eyes and just think about, how am I breathing right now? How does my chest feel? You know, does my tummy feel upset? Am I shaking a lot? It's just being mindful of what's going on in your body. Also, some of the techniques we talked about, like grounding, they talked about like identifying 3 things you can see, hear, touch. But it's another technique. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. You try to look around the room that you're in at the time to see. Like I could taste my soda. Okay, what can you smell? I could smell this candle. I could smell the breeze from outside. You know, it makes you be creative a little bit. So it's one technique to just take you away from that one thing that you're overstressing about at the moment. So physical awareness, like holding their hand. If you see that they're acting a little nervous or, you know, I didn't ask her any questions. I didn't talk to her. Just held her hand. Sometimes that's all somebody needs. Put your arm around them, just hold on to them, you know, that kind of thing, because you notice that something is going on. You need to take mind too of what their stress responses are. A lot of times you can be busy, you're not paying attention, but in different situations, just try to identify how they react so that you'll know. Art therapy. Buy the materials and the crafts. You know, you never know. Just have it around so that kids can use it. I told one of my children, I said, listen, if you are feeling some kind of way in the evenings or throughout the day, do a journal. And the kid, she rolled her eyes like, this is a kid who didn't want to do any more writing. After being at school all day, she didn't want to write anymore. So it felt like homework to her. So I said, okay, I tell you what, don't just cancel that. Don't do the journal. Do an art journal. Draw a picture at the end of each day. And that will identify how you feel. Figure out what colors you want to use for what emotions. I don't care if you scribble red across the page. Just put the date on it. We'll know, ooh, this was a bad day. This was the day that you were angry. You know, come up with creative ways that they can express themselves. Keep old magazines around. They can cut pictures out of it if they want to. And another thing, if you have a kid who, when they get anxious, they get like irritable or angry, and they want to tear up something, All that junk mail that comes in the mailbox that you don't want and you want to throw away, get a little box, put it in a corner somewhere, put all that old newspaper and stuff that you don't need over there. So when they feel like they want to be destructive and tear up something, say, go over there and get that box. And they can tear up the paper and rip it or wring it and get that anger out, especially for little kids. Number 5, visualization. See a past situation that you've gone through and see how you come through it. So tell the kids, do you remember when you were in kindergarten or you were in 1st or 2nd grade and this happened and it felt really bad and you were stressed out? How did you get through that? Just talk about it. Have a conversation about something that was very stressful to them so that they can see how they got out of it and they can visualize themselves getting out of the current situation. Recognize small efforts and accomplishments made. So if they have accomplished something, let's say they were in a, I don't know, spelling bee, or they got a lot of AR points and they were at the AR party this time, recognize that and let them know, hey, you know, when you first started this journey in 3rd grade, you didn't think you were going to get all your AR points, but look what you did. Or you got a character star, you know, this month, or you were the person voted this, or guess what? You may not be doing all this in school, but guess at church, you were picked to do this, or in different places, you were picked to do something. You were the ring bearer, you were the flower girl at somebody's wedding. Why do you think they picked you? You know, because you're so good at it, you know. The next one is do something with them that's fun, like a distraction. Hey, I'm getting ready to cook something. Can you help me measure out whatever? Or hey, can you help me stir this up while I'm going to get the other ingredients? They kind of distract them away from what's going on at the time. Try not to fix everything. Now, I've had an influx of parents coming through who do everything for their kid. So much so when they're in therapy, they're answering the questions for the kids. It's like they're not going to learn any life skills. They're never going to learn how to respond to things or to handle problems on their own if you fix everything. And I know it's heartbreaking for you to watch them struggle, but some of the struggles are good struggles. They have to learn how to pull themselves up. You can't pull them up every time. So I've seen kids be very nervous and not talk, or they don't know how to handle situations. And I've seen adult patients with children who are 30, who's never had a job, and will call them and ask them, can you buy me some groceries? Because they've never worked. So we don't want that to happen, okay? We want them to grow up and be independent kids. So
I see Carrara said, no.
All the problems. I can't hear you. You got your microphone muted.
I said, no, they definitely have to grow up.
Exactly. But they won't if the parents handle every stressful, anxious situation for them, you know? And it's hard to watch your kids struggle.
I'll stop. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Help build a list of strategies. Okay. Think about it. Say, okay, you've gotten over this situation this time, but let's write something down for next time, or let's figure it out. So if you're at school and the teacher calls on you to stand up and read something out loud, what do? Use all these things as teachable moments. Okay. When they go through something and it's stressful and they get through it, use it as a teachable moment so that they can build up their confidence to get through it the next time on their own. Speak it away. It can be just that simple. Like sometimes when things pop up, you know, I'm like, not today, Satan, not today. It's not happening. I'm not going to allow you, you know, I mean, people may think you're talking to yourself if you say it out loud, but you need to learn how to go, I'm not doing that. Just shut it down. Speak it. All right. Draw and visualize your victory. Like, oh, this is very stressful for you right now. I know that test is coming up Friday. Draw me a picture of what you're going to look like when you overcome this. What is your life going to be like when you get through this or overcome this situation that's very stressful? The last one is model behavior. Explain how you handle problems to your kids. That may be helpful for them. You know, if they talk about, the teenagers with the girlfriend, boyfriend situation, it doesn't feel good when you like somebody and they don't like you back. Okay. Tell them about a time that you went through, that you liked somebody in kindergarten, 5th grade or whatever, and it was uncomfortable, or you were embarrassed, or you felt nervous, and what you had to do to get over it. I was telling a kid the other day when I was in high school, and Bobby can speak to this, my stepmother's I didn't want to eat lunch because I was at a school that was kind of out of my district. So I didn't know all the people. So I didn't go into the lunch line for years. I would just pack my lunch and just sit down with my friends and eat my lunch. I didn't want to be on display in front of everybody. So I said, hey, if you need to pack your lunch until you get it right, pack your lunch. That means you got to be more responsible. Your mama's not going to pack your lunch. You need to pack your lunch. And then once you feel comfortable, you can move forward and getting into that lunch line if you want to. So tell them how to handle it, or let them know about your current issues that you might be having a little bit, small doses, appropriate for their level of learning or whatever. Positive affirmations. So this was what I was talking about earlier. There are some for adults. They have depression, anxiety, for a bright future, for positive vibes for the next day. I mean, it's a lot of description of different positive affirmations that you can listen to. You can listen to them at night or in the morning or in the middle of the day if you need an extra little boost. But I like this one. It's really cute and appropriate for little kids. It started over.
Affirmations every morning before you start your day. I have purpose. Perfect. I am a good person. I'm a good person. My life has meaning. My life has meaning. I am here for a reason. I am here for a reason. I am important. I am important. I am intelligent. I am intelligent. I love who I am. I am filled with love. I can change the world. Change the world. I welcome change. I welcome challenges. I welcome challenges. Challenges help me grow. Challenges help me grow. I'll be okay no matter what. I'll be okay no matter what. I am worthy of your love. I am worthy of your love. I am worthy of your respect. I am worthy of your respect. I am worthy of your patience. I am worthy of your patience. I am worthy of your time. I am worthy of your time. I have the power to make my life what I want it to be. I have the power to make my life what I want it to be. I am unique. I am unique. I began yesterday. It's okay if someone doesn't like me. It's okay if someone doesn't like me. Because I know that a lot of people love me. Because I know that a lot of people love me. And I have a great personality. And I have a great personality. So no one's opinion will ever define me. So no one's opinion will ever define me. I have integrity. Integrity. I am creative. I am creative. I am well protected. I am well protected. I can learn anything. I can learn anything. I work when it's time to work. I work when it's time to work. I play when it's time to play. I play when it's time to play. I keep trying until I win. I keep trying until I win. I am patient. I am patient. I am truthful. I am respectful. I am beautiful. I am a hard worker. I am single day.
All right, it's long. I get it. But it's cute. It's really cute. I really like it. You can play that on the way to school in the morning, give your kids an extra boost because they have a lot of things that they come in contact with that can tear them down. So we need to take the opportunity to build them up. And as adults, we need to do the same. Oh, let me go back. All right, so my resources here. I have a few books that I pulled up that I think they're pretty good. I have them for teens. You can look these up. They'll be on the YouTube page when you guys look at them. I'll pause for a moment. But it's gotten to a point where the teenagers is so, it's so much going on in the world. Just trying to be an adult. I've had kids that, back when I was growing up, I thought that being 18 was the best thing ever. Like, oh my gosh, everything's gonna be fixed and be awesome when I'm 18, when I'm a grown up, when I can make my own choices, my own decisions. I've had 3 or 4 18-year-olds come to me and they're afraid. They're like, I'm 18 now. Like, they're scared because they feel that real life is very scary and the decisions, and it's overwhelming. Because I tell them, like, you have to make your own doctor's appointments now. You have to call me. Your mom can't make your appointments for you. This is part of you becoming a responsible adult, and it's scary for them. The next set of books are for young children. So these are about just telling them what worry is and anxiety is and what it feels like, and helping them to recognize it. And usually towards the end of the book, they'll give them something to help them to do when they feel anxious or stressed. Most of these things talk about communication. You have to talk to people. And it's hard because you don't want anybody to have anything to hold against you. You don't want anybody to think a certain way about you. You're a private person. You don't put your business in the streets. I get it. I find that is the thing, because people will turn and they'll tell your business or treat you like you're less than. Get someone that you can talk to. If it's somebody who, because a lot of people have a virtual community. This is a new thing, people. People on the other side of the world, be careful. In moderation, everybody plays these video games with their friends. They say, oh, I have friends. Really? What are your friends' name? Where are your friends? And they'll say online. Excuse me. So there we go with that social skills situation. They feel like these people are listening to them. You have to use judgment. You have to tell your parents about your friends, because when you have friends, that means you're proud of being a friend to somebody. And if you're proud of them, tell your parents about them. Find out information about them. Your parents are going to want to know where do they live, who are their parents, get the proper information. Sometimes you'll feel like you're the only one worrying, like the other little girl did. And she saw a little boy who was worried too. And she talked to him about it, and they had something in common. This is a resource for parents. You have some parents who don't know what to do for their children because their children are suffering, and they feel bad about it because they feel helpless. The first time I remember feeling helpless is when my daughter had a fever. As a parent, you don't know what to do if it's your first kid and they're burning up and they're crying and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I had a teenager recently who wouldn't talk about what they were going through. And I talked to her mom and I said, does this feel like when she was little and she was sick and she wouldn't talk to you? Because when they're little, a year old or 5 months old, they can't talk to you and tell you what's going on. It's very similar. They don't have the right words, or they don't feel good enough to want to talk about it at the time. So parents need to know what to do, how to maneuver. Here is my contact information. Yeah, my hair is really cute on this picture. I'll be back there one day. But I'm located in Douglasville. This is the phone number, so you can screenshot it. Or if you have just a couple of questions, you can email me at a Good Place Counseling Center. Okay. My phone number is on there. well, not my personal phone number, the phone number to shelter code. So that if you feel like you need to come in for an assessment, or I had a parent bring their kid in recently, no problems at school. He's just a little rough. He's a little boy, but she wants him, he's like 5. She wants him to develop coping skills and learn how to communicate. And I said, there you go. Let's get in here before the problems come up and learn some skills so we won't have to go to therapy because we're beating up the kids, or we're not getting in trouble every day at school. And now the school is telling you, you have to have them evaluated before you bring them back. That's usually what we run into. But it's nothing wrong with going to therapy. Before, it's like, I'm not crazy, I don't need a therapist, but everybody needs someone to talk to. If you don't have anybody in your personal circle or any family or relatives that you can trust to not share all your information, go to therapy. Don't have to be me. It can be someone local near you. Just being able to talk about what you're going through is half the battle. It makes you feel so much better. And that is the conclusion of my presentation.
Thank you so much. Anybody online that has any questions? Any comments, questions, concerns? You're dealing with something now? Don't all talk at once. You can chat box.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Bobby. I'm Syreeta's stepmom. She's my bonus daughter. I really just checked in to support Syreeta, but when I tell you this has been some really good information for me, because I think with everything that's been happening, we all are going through our share of stress and anxiety, and I think talking about the difference between the two was very helpful. But just, with so much happening right now, suicide, all kind of things that's happening, and people just being really, some people shocked because they didn't know children were going through what they were going through when things happen. So I think it's good what you guys are doing to get parents to really talk to children and children to talk to their parents. So, and also they help the parents who are also dealing with stress. So I just really enjoyed it, and I just want to say that. So thank you for the information. Great job, Syreeta.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You can unmute your phones. Boy, my teens don't want to say anything that's on here.
Very, very good information.
Thank you, Deja.
Very well.
Okay, I guess there's nothing else, and I do apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning. So when this is placed on YouTube, it won't get the first part of the presentation, but it got everything else. So it will be on YouTube momentarily. I want to thank the parents and the youth and other adults that are online today. This is very, very, very personal to me because I've dealt with kids working as a juvenile probation officer, case manager, counselor, and I'm still dealing with them. And it's very important. The mental health of our children is very important because teenage suicide, young kid suicide is very high and prevalent right now. So we need to do all we can to help speak life into that situation. Deja has her hand raised.
Yeah, so I was just going to add, I didn't realize it, but a lot of this information applies to my life, and I'm an adult. So I know that this helped everybody on the call, and, just some of the examples that you gave, Ms. Syreeta, about ways to cope with dealing with stress and anxiety. And especially the example that you gave us about like the flight and the fight and all of that. I see myself probably as flight because I am a very hard worker and I like to do things to distract me from dealing with certain, stressors in my life. So I appreciate all of the information. It was very helpful.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, if not, Syreeta is located not too far from me, Douglasville, Georgia. Thanks to everyone again. If you would like to donate to the cause, you can cash app us at $SPEAK for the letter, I'm sorry, the number 4, capital S, capital L, capital Y, capital C, or you can donate through our website, which is for PayPal. And we're going to try to continue to do classes like this throughout the year. In a couple of weeks, we will have Know Your Rights, an attorney here in West Georgia. She's going to talk to the youth about knowing your rights. When you come across a law enforcement officer who happens to pull you over, what do you do? What should you do? How, looking at your surroundings, preparing for court if you end up going to court and all of that. And at the end of next month, we have a very special, let's just say a world-renowned genealogist who's going to be talking about her passions. So we got a lot of things planned for this year. Again, thank you all for participating and joining us today. I'm Latanya Smith, the CEO and founder of Speak Life to Youth and Children International. And if we can ever be of service, you can email us, put my email in the chat box, or you can reach out to us on Facebook. Some of you all do have my personal phone number as well. So thank you all. Have a great day. Stay warm, stay safe, and we will talk later.
And also thank you for, I really like the positive affirmations.
Oh, well, good.
Thank you, Morgan. And who's the teen up here? I see somebody that on there says teen. I'm trying to figure out who you are.
That's my sister-in-law.
Okay, because she got teen. I'm like, okay.
That's Michael's sister.
And I think my mother is on or was on. And some friends, South Carolina, North Carolina, family, South Carolina, North Carolina. So thank you all again. And I love y'all. We will talk soon. And Miss Perkins, give me a call because you all have the most teens in the family. So y'all would be receiving a gift. So give me a whatever. But we will be back in a couple of weeks. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks, Syreeta.
You're welcome.